folks, it's Nick here. Thank you for joining me, and we're going to be looking at Fighting Warrior on the ZX Spectrum 48K, published by Melbourne House in 1985. It's a beat 'em up, which also come out on the Amstrad CPC and the Commodore 64. This thing is set in ancient Egypt. You must rescue the Princess Thaya, who has been kidnapped. Big surprise, they've always been kidnapped, haven't they? She's been kidnapped by an evil pharaoh. It's a 2D horizontal scroller, slash 'em up. I do have a poke for infinite energy, which if I'm no good at it, I will put that in. So here we go. Large sprites, a bit like the size of Barbarian. And all the time we need to jump past these arrows as well. Now you see my strength on the bottom there, bottom left with the red arrows. The enemy strength's on the right arrows. There's 3 ways of attacking. Up and fire button on the joystick for a headshot. And then fire button and the mid one for a mid shot, and you know, you can work out the rest. A low one, you can back off as well. There's no real blocking that I can see. Looks like there's a timer counting down also. I think, right, that's him done. Good. And now I think this power up vase thing there, I think that gives you maximum energy again if you can get it, which I didn't move forward. So here's the next guy. We must beat a series of guys, I presume with sticks and swords, and then get to rescue the princess. Looks quite tough. Would have been okay, I think, as a kid. Big sprites, which I'm a fan of. Lots of different moves. But a bit of a worry here that it's going to turn into a one-move affair, like a lot of these games did. I do like the background. It's a nice idea, putting it in Egypt, rather than going for the normal golden axe, like sword and sorcery sort of theme. So I thought about that, and I'm dead. Right, I think I'll have another go without the cheat on, then we'll abandon that and just try and get to the end, or the end of the level, see what happens. I don't know if you have to fight 3 people and then that's it, but these enemies I think are based on Egyptian gods. This one's got the head of a lion. I don't know who that would be. Right, I'm trying to... the problem with this is, in terms of a tactical fight, it's a bit of a waste of time. You might as well just keep going for a mid-move. So I might go to... I'm trying to do it, but I might just hold the fire button down and just do it to the right and keep going for mid-shots all the time. Okay, right. You might notice a bit of a difference now. Yes. Oh no, I thought the cheat was on. It's not working. My energy's still going down. Oh dear. We'll have another go at that in a minute. Oh dear. We might be down just to my normal play here. There's a pyramid in the background and some sort of temple and some trees. Right, this thing... yeah, so maximum energy again. Now this guy we got to before looks like something out of Shadow of the Beast, I think. The body is the same now on each of these people, I think. Let me know. Well, let's have a look. When the next person's generated, we get to them. Let's see if the body's always the same and they just change the head. Energy seems to be varied. Sun looks a bit odd in the top right there. There's some points come out of it, just to disguise the fact that it's a square, maybe. Right, he's dead. Right, duck below this arrow. We've only got 3 bits of energy left. Hopefully there's another vial there, which we've walked past. Now this fella. Yeah, same body again, isn't it? He's got the head of a, I don't know, a bird. Maybe that's Ibis. Look that up. I do know a few Greek gods. Ibis did something or other. They're human bodies and the head of an animal normally. They don't mix it up like, I don't know, the head of an octopus and the body of a photocopier. Right, right, let's have another go at the poke. We'll get some distance. Look, they're fighting a dragon there in that graphic. Hopefully the scenery gets a bit varied and we do get to mix it up. Right, poke should work. Check out my red arrows. They won't... they're not going down. So we might have a bit of success here. Let's beat up a few people. I think we got about 3 people in, didn't we, here? Arrow coming across. Bit like Ninja Master, if you know that game. My favourite fighting games would have to be on the Spectrum at least. Yeehaw Kung Fu and Way of the Exploding Fist. I do like those. This is much better than the last fighting game we reviewed, which was Kung Fu Master. Have a look at that if you haven't already. That's quite abysmal. This shows a little bit of skill. Graphics in the people coming across. It's not... just because it's not my type of game. It's not the most exciting in the world, but, you know, there's a lot of frames there that they've bothered to do. They've set it in Egypt, which is a novel idea. Gameplay is going to get a bit repetitive, I think. Yeah, I'm just going to go for midriff stuff. When I hit him, it's a green sort of like explosion sort of thing that you see. When he hits me, it's red, so they notice a difference there. Yeah, I think I do prefer it to Barbarian. It's a similar sort of affair, but instead of stage base or level base, it looks like as soon as you beat one person, the next person comes on. I would like to see the person's name, the fighter's name on the screen to give you a bit of an idea who they are. That would have been quite nice. Or maybe they're just random generic ones, these first guards. If you've completed this game, let me know on either the Amstrad CPC or the Commodore 64. It's a game I only come across by accident, I think. I don't think it was a recommendation. If you did recommend it, then thank you. Always like having a look at them, but didn't know about it in the day. 1985 versus the Ibis man again. I wonder who comes after him, or will it just rotate round again? That time ticking down just my side. I don't think that makes a big difference with the poke on. Yeah, stab, medium stab. So, you know, I think back in the day playing this, I would have just done fire button and held the joystick to the right to do continuous midriff one on the hope that we'd get more blocks in than the computer. And that's it, really. So, you know, Spectrum's always going to struggle in that affair. On Yi Kung Fu, I favoured the lunge punch as well rather than anything else. Did try and vary it a bit sometimes to try and make the gameplay a bit more entertaining for myself. But, you know, at the end of the day, you only cared about progression. And it was the lunge punch that did it. Here, it seems to be the midriff hit. Right, hopefully a different person now. Here we go. Walking along, minding our own business in ancient Egypt. Someone fires an arrow, we duck. Is that Anubis? That looks like a different fella. Right, a die Anubis. Anubis is the god of death, so he's got a head start into the underworld. The head of a jackal. The body, not of a photocopier, but of a human being. I suppose you could make up your own Egyptian gods, couldn't you? The head of a squid, the body of a goat. No, that don't work. It's always got to be the body of a human, unless it's the Sphinx, of course, which went the other way around, which is the head of a human on the body of a lion. Then at some point someone fired a cannon into its nose and it lost a bit of it, the statue at least. Ancient Egypt, there's a lot we don't know about them. If you've seen the film Stargate, I think they all went into outer space. Yeah. Anyway, it's an idea. Right, he's dead. Next up, who's next? Someone's come up from the ground. I don't know who that is. Oh, is it me? Maybe this is the last one. That character looks very similar to my character. Maybe this is the last bit of the stage. We can keep our fingers crossed that after this it says stage complete and then the scenery changes and we go somewhere else. One can hope. Check out the red arrows. Hopefully we can plunder them, get them going down a little bit. Take that, you. What's your favourite fight game on the Spectrum? One good one you might want to look at if you haven't already is IK Plus. It's not the traditional 2D scroller beat 'em up and slash 'em up, but it's quite entertaining. It lacks the colour of the Commodore 64 version, the Commodore Amiga of course, and the Game Boy Advance version of IK Plus is fantastic, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good of what it's got to work with. Yeah, that's the Lionhead man now. It's starting to rotate round. It's running out of different heads of people for us to fight. And I must admit, with the poke on, I'm getting a little bit bored. And even without the poke on, I'm probably getting a bit more bored. As a kid, I think as soon as I completed this game, would have completed it, I don't think I would have played it again. Well, that might be a bit of a lie, really. It does look quite cool, doesn't it? It's the size of the people. When you look at it compared to things like Pit Fighter, which tried to do big characters on numerous systems, that was awful. Yeah, impressive for what's there. This is 48K. Fighting Warrior, 1985. Be interested to see what this looks like on the Commodore 64. I'd imagine it'll play similar, but the colours might be a little bit more varied. Spectrum colour palette tends to be brighter, tends to pop out the screen a lot more. The Commodore 64, though, it's got more colours. It's a bit more earthy. Gives you a bit, and quite often the characters in the foreground will be different to the colours in the background. Do get a lot of monochrome on the Spectrum, but you get used to that after a while. And it's a bit of a charm of the system, really. I wouldn't swap it for anything in the world, apart from £10 billion, a massive house and a sports car. Right, let's go forward. Yeah, this bloke again. The Shadow of the Beast guy. Take that, you. Oh, I just want it to end now to see the end. We might call this person the last person we fight unless the scenery changes dramatically. You see the colour in the foreground, what we're actually standing on. They've used the Bright 1 feature there. or on the background to give you two slight different colours of yellow. So well done there. The music for the mountains in the background, and that does give you a little bit of extra depth, so well done to them. It's the little bits that make a game good. Chop, chop, chop. I must admit, a bit of the jeopardy has gone now. I know it's impossible for me to die. But if you did own this, did you get this far? Did you get a lot further? And let me know, how many people do you have to beat in this before you can rescue the princess? This is a hell of a challenge for a kid to be able to do. Of course, your energy regenerates after each one of those vials. But it's similar fighting, similar characters each time. It's just a grind fest, really. As soon as you've done it once, that'll be it, I'd imagine. Please be the end. Please be the end. There's a vial there. These come up the ground again. It's me again. Maybe there's something I'm not doing. This is what fighting would have been like in ancient Egypt. When you look at ancient Egyptian gods, there's Isis. That's a woman, not the terrorist group. Isis, the goddess of love. Anubis, of course. Horus. I've sort of like run out of them now, but there's loads. I did know a few. I should have written them down to be clever. The sun god Ra, that's one. Excellent. There's a crocodile god, but I can't remember what that's called. Offla, no, that's something to do with Terry Pratchett. He made up his own gods as well. Eddie Izzard made up Jeff, the god of biscuits. I don't think he's in this, but there was a god of absolutely everything. If ancient Egypt had Wi-Fi, there would have been a god of Wi-Fi, god of the internet, and god of, well, everything. You name it, they've got it. God of airing cupboards. I don't think we've got that one. Over the arrow. Oh, right. There's a white obelisk there. I was going to end it there, but the scenery looks like it might be getting to the end. Maybe that's signaling the end. Maybe. I am guessing now, but we keep fighting the same person. The gameplay is not varying at all. I would like a little bit of music, a bit of fanfare each time you beat someone. There's a sphinx sort of statue, I think, or at least some kind of bird. Boof, an arrow to the neck's not going to affect us. There's about 4 different people we're fighting each time. Just get out of the way, we just want to see the end now. This might very well be the end. There's the obelisk there. There's a row of sphinxes. Hopefully no one else... Oh, look at that. I was going to say, hopefully no one else turns up, but someone has turned up. Let me through. Let me through, you hoodlum. Midriff, 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 midriff. Blow, hit, midriff. Kaboom, bam, bomb. They could have done a lot of themes on this one. Could have made it like sword and sorcery. Glad they didn't. Could have been Batman. Could have been anything. Could have been Robocop. Could have been Rocky Balboa. Adrian's been kidnapped. Could have been anything. But Egypt's a good title. I'm trying to think of any other Egyptian games. I can't immediately think of them. There's a lot of space there, I think, in the market for those. This is the bit where you say lots of Egyptian games I've already covered. Or we need to cover. Oh, Mummy, I suppose. I suppose you could say that's Egyptian, but it's not really that much Egyptian. Right. Man, I'm getting bored now. There's the sun again. We got the sphinxes. If it doesn't end past these sphinxes, we'll say that's the end of the review, because we have seen all the gameplay. It's not varying a great deal beyond this bit, but most likely, you know that lore. The last person I fight, probably, if I fight one other person at the end of the stage, and we'll go somewhere else. But I'm quite conscious that I don't want this to last forever. There's only a certain amount of time you can stick with certain games. And as I said, we've seen everything here. We've seen the different moves. Essentially about 6 moves. 8 really. Duck, jump, sword thrust middle, sword thrust top, sword thrust lower, and then back those similar directions. And that's all you got. And use them in your fight. I would say you have to be tactical, but you don't. You just hold the fire button in one direction and let your character do all the swiping, because you can attack a little bit quicker than the enemy. Right, this looks like the end of the Sphinxes. No finishing line in sight. Yeah, I think we'll leave that one there. So I hope you liked having a look at that one. That was Fighting Warrior, published by Melbourne House in 1985. I sort of liked it, but it's sort of clever. I like the animation, I like the graphics, but in the end of the day, it's just a little bit boring for me. If you've got any comments about this game, similar games, or anything retro, then please put those below. Big thanks to everyone that's subscribed so far, helping the channel move forward, much appreciated. If you want to help a bit more, it's patreon.com/mjenkin. Every bit really does help, and I give shout outs each month in a monthly video for anything you're up to if you want me to. Until next time, take great care of yourself, and a very fond Goodbye.
Goodbye.